Hello, I am District 6310 District Governor Randy Edema, and it is my privilege to introduce to you Ann Tron, a member of the Rotary Club of Bay City, Michigan. I asked Ann to lead our District 6310 initiative for our Rotary Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup on April 24th. I committed our district to collaborate with other districts in the Great Lakes Watershed area, both in the United States and Canada. As you will see, Ann has a passion for the environment, and she is leading our district in making an impact. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you, Randy. And I do have a passion, and I'm going to show you just a couple things and get you organized on how you can become involved in this very fun initiative. And we're almost there.
Yep, I can see it, Ann.
Okay, Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup is what I want to tell you about. And this year, we call it the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup Initiative because it's the first year, but we hope to make it an annual event. And as Randy said, it is multi-district and multinational, which is kind of a cool service project. This is the Great Lakes Watershed Basin right here, all those colored areas. It includes 8 states and 2 provinces, which is quite a bit of area. There has been a group that's been meeting since last fall, and they have developed this logo that we encourage you to use when you do get involved in the event. And you could make t-shirts. Our club is going to make t-shirts. You could make hats, use it on any media presentations you do. We have it with white letters and with blue letters. With this big cleanup, we are striving to make this the single largest series of cleanup events ever planned and held on the Great Lakes in Watershed during Earth Week. Earth Day is actually the 22nd, but we're going to try to have our event on the 24th because that is a Saturday and we feel you will have more participation. And this was taken last year on Earth Day and it might be that cold again, so be prepared. In 1962, Rachel Carson wrote a book called Silent Spring, and it brought to light some concerns that we all have about pesticides and pollution in our waterways and pollution in our soils. And it all really started with Rachel Carson in 1962. And now, 1969, in Cleveland, Ohio, the Cuyahoga River went on fire. It burned. Now, this is the Saginaw River in Bay City, and that would be a horrible thing if that was on fire because we use it for lots of recreation and fishing, as I'm sure all of you use your waterways. So we want to keep them clean. We want education in this cleanup event as well as doing good things because I think we all would really like it if our rivers looked like this. We are all a vulnerable part of the natural world, and we're subject to the same damage as everything else. Maybe you remember when you were younger or when I was younger, bald eagles were hardly ever seen. That's because there was a pesticide called DDT. It was banned in 1972. And I think maybe now we've all seen bald eagles. That same DDT could have hurt us. Rotary has some areas of focus, and I'm pretty sure you're all aware of them. I'm not going to read them to you, but I do want to point out the second one, which is disease prevention, which certainly pertains to polio, which we're all aware of. And then further down, it's talking about basic education and literacy, which we're focusing on literacy this year, and also education because I want this cleanup to also be an education event. Earth Day was originally started as a day of education. So we're going to also educate people as well as do some actual cleanup. And we're going to help our community. Now in July, there's going to be a new Rotary area of focus, and it's going to be the environment. So the Rotarians that are getting together to do this in the watershed feel that this is really going to make a splash and make that a big point of our new area of focus. Rochester Institute of Technology did a study, and they sadly found that 22 million pounds of plastics and trash are dumped in the Great Lakes watershed each and every year. I think we can all agree we don't like that. We don't want to do that. We're going to be a part of that cleanup. So we are going to ask all of you, we want to engage the Rotary family, that's all of you. We want to engage some of your friends. We want to really create a day of action drawing attention to our fragile environment and to Rotary's and your and my desire to be part of the solution. Our project in Bay City is going to be the Michigan Sugar Trails. This is Bay City. This is the Saginaw River that goes out to the Saginaw Bay. And this is an island in the middle of the river called the Middle Grounds. And this area right here is called Michigan Sugar Trails. It's hiking trails and biking trails. And we are going to coordinate there, and we're going to pick up trash. We're going to pick up tires. We're going to redesign some of the trails because the water levels have been high here, and I know in many other communities in the watershed. So we have to change things a little bit, and we can be a part of that. We asked a group that how we could help, and that's how they said we could help them. So we want you to select a waterway or watershed project in your community. And I want you to talk to someone in your community, like, for instance, the Saginaw Bay Watershed Initiative Network, which is better known as WIN, or the Nature Conservancy, or some other environmental group that you are aware of in your community, and say, we have a group of Rotarians. We want to make a focus this year. We want to know what projects you have going and how can we help you. So that's what we want you to do, is get out there and help them. We want you to make a plan of how to do this. That's going to take some different talents of members of your club to find the project, find a plan, set a measurable goal. We want you to promote your event. We want to use the logo in any promotion and get the event out there. Facebook, other social media. Lots of towns have newspapers still. And then we're going to have you collect the data. And I'm going to send all the clubs this data collection sheet, which has a number of interesting things on it. And all the people in all the clubs of the whole watershed are going to send out sheets just like this. Your club would only take up one line here, but we want the district, the date, the event location, the latitude and longitude, which will be really impressive when we include the whole watershed, the waterway that you are impacting, and we are impacting the Saginaw River and the Saginaw Bay and Lake Huron. The number of participants in your event, that includes the people that organize it beforehand, but maybe have a brand new hip and can't come out and pick up trash that day. But anybody that gets involved, we'd like to know the number of participants that you have, the amount of litter that you collected. It can be measured by weight, and the group we're working with will measure it by weight, but it can also be measured by counting the bags of trash you collected, counting the tires you collected, or whatever means. We want some kind of measurement. And then lastly, we'd like you to tell us how much of an area you worked on. The Michigan Sugar Trails that we're working on is 26 acres. So the objectives of this project are to improve the area that you select. We want you to reduce the trash in that area. We want you to remove things that can be harmful to wildlife and pets. For instance, I'm sure many of you have seen the discarded masks lately. And I think maybe you saw a picture on Facebook of a duck with a mask stuck around his neck. That duck does not have hands. He cannot get that off. So we want to go out there and take care of things like that to help our wildlife. They're part of our ecosystem also. We want to create opportunity for Rotarians as well as friends of Rotarians and the general public to help us, to know about it. We're going to educate them, and we want the educational piece to be educate them how we can all be better stewards of our world. And then the report, the data at the end is the data sheet, which I will send to all the clubs. This is a comic I collected about 10 or more years ago, and I will not read the whole thing, but in the bottom it says, the guy is telling about clean water and air and how that might be important. And I can think to myself of Flint. And then he's talking about healthy children, and I can think to myself of Ascoda and PFAS, and there are many things we can think about. One person in the audience says, what if it's a big hoax and we create a better world for nothing? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think any of you think that's going to happen. We are Rotarians. We are virtuous people. We know our Rotary vision statement, and we are going to unite. And we're going to take action, and we are going to create lasting change by educating and by doing the work we do on the day, April 24th, 2021, across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. Rotarians didn't join to get rich. They joined to feel good and work for others. This is my contact information. I'd be happy to have you contact me via email or texting, and I can help you in any way I can. I will be happy to.
Well, thank you, Ann, for all you're doing for District 6310 in Rotary's new area of focus, support the environment. I appreciate
Thank
everything
you.
you're doing for all of our clubs.
I think it's going to be exciting.